Hello again, it's time for another review of some Xbox Live Arcade goodness. Now before I start, the past couple of times I've done a review of an Xbox game or whatever, I've held up my controller and, let's play, and people get horribly confused because my Xbox controller looks like this. And I get messages and comments from people saying, why are you holding up a PlayStation 3 controller when you're doing an Xbox game? It's not. It's just a black 360 controller because I bought the Xbox 360 Elite console, which is black. Look. See? They're quite different. Just because they're the same color doesn't make them the same thing. Stop messaging me about it. Really. It's irritating. Noobs. Right. So let's get started. A couple of days ago, a friend of mine recommended to me a new Xbox Live Arcade title called Fable 2 Pub Games. Any game with the word pub in it deserves my attention for a start, I think. Particularly pub games. Unfortunately, nothing to do with drinking games. So instead, basically, Fable 2 Pub Games is a collection of 3 casino-style gambling mini-games, because gambling away a month's rent is much more socially acceptable than nearly dying from massive alcoholic poisoning. The point of playing these pub games, though, is to let you get a jump start on your character when Fable 2 comes out by gambling and with a little luck, winning a nice big purse of gold, which will be awarded to your character when you start playing the new Fable 2 RPG, which comes out in late October from Lionhead Studios, published by Microsoft. Oh, and keep an eye out real soon for a Fable 2 preview video from me, because I'm kind of excited about the game. But, back to pub games. In Fable 2 Pub Games, you've got 3 games to throw your gold at, starting with my least favourite, Spinner, which is pretty much a slot machine type game. It's got some interesting variations, but in the end all you really got to do is just keep mashing the A button and pray to whatever spooky deity of gambler's luck you prefer, because it's a game of pure luck, or lack thereof, and frankly, it's pretty dull. And the only reason I've even invested any significant time in it is to unlock the bonus items in the tournament mode so I can use them in Fable 2. Next up we've got Keystone, which is an interesting variation on roulette, not played with a roulette spinning wheel of inevitable crushing disappointment, but an arch and dice. The idea is very similar to roulette in that you can place bets based on the probability of the dice coming up with certain numbers, so there's more strategy here than in Spinner, but as with most games of chance, luck's a big player. I've never been a huge fan of roulette, but Keystone is actually kind of a fun adaptation of the roulette gameplay, and people out there who dig on the roulette style of game will probably enjoy this. And lastly, there's my favourite of the 3, called Fortune's Tower. The easiest way to describe this is sort of a mutant hybrid between solitaire and blackjack. The idea is that as successively longer hands of cards are laid down, your winnings are calculated based on the face value of the number cards. But the risk you run as you keep hitting for more cards is that if 2 cards of the same value touch each other vertically, they burst into flames and incinerate all your hopes and dreams into ashes. Unless of course the face down card at the top of the pyramid, which then automatically comes into play and covers up your burnt out card. If it comes down and it's the same value as the card it's replacing, though, you're a double whammy loser and none of your hopes and dreams will ever come true. You're a loser. There are also hero cards, sporting the image of a spiffy knight in shining armour who's come to save the day with a wriggle and a clash of his sword and shield. He can protect your hand from any number of burnt out cards, and if you can make it all the way through the 8 rows without using the face down card, then you win a jackpot, and your winnings are then the sum total of all the face value cards on the table, which is a very fulfilling feeling, and it's also fulfilling your gold purse. Ha ha! Pun. And that's why I like Fortune's Tower the best out of 3 games on offer here. Just like in blackjack, while luck plays a part, but there's also the aspect of pushing your luck, playing the probabilities, and knowing when to pull out and cash in. Strategy and even skill play a larger part in this game than any of the others, which makes it the most gratifying game to play and win, because instead of feeling lucky or unlucky, you can pretty easily convince yourself that you're some kind of magical and gifted gambling god of legend, who all the girls in the pub will swoon around all night in an effort to get you to buy their drinks all night with your sacks and sacks of shiny monies. In the tournament mode, you can play against AI computer-controlled opponents, strangely lucky AI computer-controlled opponents, I'll add, and if you're placed in the top 5 at the end of the tournament, you can win prize money and, best of all, special items that can also carry over to your Fable 2 character, some of which are just fun, but some of which will actually enhance your character in some pretty interesting and seemingly significant ways. And the extra incentive here is that all these items are only attainable in pub games. And hey, and even if you don't want to use the item, you can always sell it off in Fable 2 and make some extra gold. So if you're eager to sink your teeth into Fable 2 with pockets full of cash to get you running right from the get-go, then Fable 2 pub games is definitely worth the 800 Microsoft points it'll cost you. And even if you're not bouncing around in your seat for Fable 2, this might be worth a look anyway. Fortune's Tower in particular, as I mentioned, is a pretty fun way to kill a little time when you're not in the mood for a fast-twitch, high-power, all-explodey action game. Though I guess the cards do kind of explode into flames every now and again anyway, so that's a plus. Final verdict on Fable 2 pub games? That's worth a look. It's only 800 Microsoft points, and it's a good way to kill some time. And if you are as excited for Fable 2 as I'm becoming, you definitely want to get a head start in piling up some gold so you can buy some pretty things in the game. Catch you next time. I'm off to earn some more gold and kill more hours than I expected to on this simple little mini games.